Continuing, you know from your own experience that what you see in dreams you think is real, as long as you are asleep. Yet the instant you waken, you know that everything that seemed to happen did not happen at all. You do not think this mysterious, even though all the laws of what you awakened to were violated while you slept. Is it not possible that you merely shifted from one dream to another without really wakening? You fall asleep at night and you have a dream. And you wake up and you say, I'm awake. But now you're learning that what you call being awake is still a state of misperception. That's very helpful. Because your experience with night dreams helps you have an experiential perspective that allows you then to look at your experience right now while you say you're awake and say, maybe my way of perceiving is still altered, is still not consistent with what's real. When you had the dream, when you get up in the morning, are you guilty of the dreams you had? No. And when you wake up, in terms of coming back into your right mind, the way you've been experiencing the kingdom of heaven right now, you will find will be no cause for guilt at all either. So you don't need to be afraid of sudden shifts of perception, because they won't render you judgeable. And they won't set you in line to the great courthouse in the sky, waiting for your case to come up to be heard, and where judgment will occur, and then you will know whether you go to hell or heaven. You see? So let your curiosity arise, and let your curiosity be genuine, not tentative. You are the Christ, and you can use your holy will on your behalf instead of to your detriment. And you can use it in many ways. That is, to your betterment. One of which is what we discussed last week, when you go up and down the stairs. To do it with a light step, to realize that you are using ultimate capacities to move from one place to another in a very limited way. And you want to experience those capacities in a less limited way, so that you either levitate effortlessly up the stairs, or you teleport instantaneously up the stairs. Don't engage curiosity in a heavy, laborious, studious way. Let there be lightness to it. Let there be fun to it. Continuing, would you bother to reconcile what happened in conflicting dreams? And here it's referring to the night dream and the daydream that you're all having an experience of, because you're not seeing your day through the eyes of God, which God gave you to see through. Would you bother to reconcile what happened in conflicting dreams? You know, you could say, what's wrong with me? How could I be so confused that I have two unreal dreams. I must really be messed up. And you could go on and then you could begin to develop theories and teachings and steps to be taken to learn how to separate this dream from the other dream. And thus prepare yourself for deserving to see everything clearly. Would you bother to reconcile or do anything at all about what happened in conflicting dreams? Or would you dismiss both together if you discovered that reality is in accord with neither? You do not remember being awake. When you hear the Holy Spirit, you merely feel better because loving seems possible to you. But you do not remember yet that it once was so. And it is in this remembering, and we could say it is in this dim remembering, that you will know it can be so again. And I will add, and your faith will be increased. And you will unleash your curiosity a little bit further and become more undefended, and thus provide the environment in which a miracle can occur, a sudden shift of perception. Continuing, what is possible, meaning waking up totally, or experiencing that loving is possible, has not yet been accomplished. Yet, what has once been is so now, if it is eternal. And you know what? No matter how convoluted the concepts are that you might have created to cause you to misperceive things, you cannot have made anything out of yourself that is less than or different from the presence of God being you. And there is no way you could have arrived in a place or a state of existence that no longer includes and embodies what you ultimately are. It's just absolutely impossible. And that is why I keep repeating this, that you are neither behind the point of perfection nor advancing toward it. You are at that point and must understand yourself therefrom. Continuing, when you remember, you will know what you remember is eternal, and therefore is now. You will remember everything the instant you desire it wholly. For if to desire wholly is to create, you will have willed away the separation, returning your mind simultaneously to your Creator and your creations. Knowing them, you will have no wish to sleep, but only the will to waken and be glad. Dreams will be impossible because you will want only truth. And being at last your will, it will be yours. You see, you're not going, it is not going to be possible. It will be impossible for you to arrive at the experience of singularity, which means no conflict, No polarities, no tension. It will be impossible for you to arrive at an experience of singularity while you're still trying to be a definition trying to reach the experience of singularity. As long as you think you are a conflicted being trying to become worthy of experiencing the singularity, you will not be able to arrive at the conscious experience of it. You have to stop thinking of yourself. You have to stop conceiving of yourself as a conflicted mortal, a conflicted hunk of flesh, a vulnerable outcome of physical processes. You're going to have to abandon the idea of smallness, physicalness, and vulnerability. You are going to have to start understanding yourself from the ultimate right here. And you can do it. And it will be easier for you to do it because someone has shared with you that that's the answer. It's not an answer that is on the front page of the news every night. It's not an answer that's printed in the flyleaf of every book that's published, just to remind you of something utterly essential to coming back into your right mind. But someone's telling you. Pissant mortals never get into the kingdom of heaven. Why? Because there ain't no such critter. But the divine one that you are can recover or rediscover the kingdom of heaven because of what you divinely are and because what God knows, God does not know only for himself, but constitutes your inherent, eternal, ever-present knowing. We could say your capacity to know. And we only would say your capacity to know because at the moment you don't seem to be experiencing it. But your mind is not incapacitated. The capacity is present. The capacity is functional. And all you have to do is stop willing not to know it because you prefer to will to know something that's pure imagination and believe that it is true. And all I'm ever doing is promoting your withdrawal of your confidence in your imagination. And saying, hey, hey everybody, over here, there's something real going on. And it's here for you to see, and you have the capacity to see it. All you have to do is want to see it instead of wanting to see what you're presently seeing. And you've got to be willing to stop willing to believe what you see just because your parents and all of the teachers you ever had taught you what the truth was. And all of the books you read, as far back into ancient history as you can go, tell you this. And so it must be true. I'm sorry. It's not. But you have to will to abandon your confidence in anything that has arisen out of imagination. And then you have to will to be genuinely curious. Well, curiosity can be dangerous, you know, because you have to abandon your securities. You have to be willing to be vulnerable to the unexpected. Well, not being willing to do that and not willing to do it will just give you more of what you already have. If you like it, you like it. But you don't have to. It's okay not to. And not willing to be committed to misperception. At the least, causes you to be subject to spontaneous revelation. Not a bad result from a little bit of neglect. With that, I will leave you for tonight. I will be with you every moment, though. And I trust that you will approach the coming week with curiosity and less defendedness and a little bit more anticipation of joy in this process. I love you. 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 And the fellow behind the console, I love you. And I love you. And I love you. Love really is possible.